everybody does have a podcast. Ladies, how we doing?
We're doing great.
What we doing?
We're talking today.
We about to get into it?
Yes, we are.
All right. We're here to entertain. We're here to talk. We're here to kick the ish, however you want to call it. So, we just, gonna just
talking about today?
talk about life stuff. Like, recently heard a conversation from a group of people, and they were talking about partnership and cohabitating. And if you live with your partner, should you go half and half on the bills?
Ooh, not a topic.
I think you should.
Why do you think you should?
Because in this day and age, people, especially, men or women, they'll kick you out for the quickness. So 2 reasons. One, you don't want to get kicked out, okay? Because then it's like, where are you going?
But what if you don't have a job?
Still, if people have the attitude, they could kick you
How about if you're a
out.
housewife?
Huh?
How about if you're a housewife?
Right.
What's wrong with that?
If you're a housewife, I guess it just depends what scenario, right? Because my thing is like, if you're a housewife, I feel like at a certain point, regardless, your name should be at least on the lease. Then you can't be kicked out. But if you're already going in and he or she's already paying and they're not putting your name on the lease, I wouldn't want to do that because they have the authority to kick me out. Yeah, the squatter terms, blah, 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 and all that stuff will go come into effect. And as Rafael was saying, in regards to housewife, if your name is on the lease, obviously you're safe, right? But if it's a situation you're just dating or, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you want to call it, and you're moving into that person's house or they're buying it on their own right, they can kick you out, Do you want that energy? And number 2, if you both put money in it, it's an investment. You care about it more. You understand what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. How do you feel?
I'm very indifferent. I have 2 perspectives on that. I think when you're a wife, it's different because I think we talked about this before. I may have talked about this with another group of friends of mine, but I feel like when you're a wife, you're going in it's a partnership regardless, right? And if you're a housewife, you are contributing to the household.
Absolutely.
To make sure this household is sustainable.
You mean like cleaning, cooking,
whatever is a housewife for
balancing the budget.
Because different housewives do different things, right? Not all housewives clean their house.
Right,
and
some men do most of the cooking,
and some men do cooking. So
some
every housewife
do most of the cleaning. There's roles exchange,
but everybody contributes to the household in some way. What I do think what happens a lot of times, I think that the men may feel like you're not contributing to your household, so then they feel like they have an upper hand because financially they are contributing, right? But then I think that's a conversation that should happen. Like, if I'm a housewife, I'm contributing, I'm putting towards this home, we're doing this as a partnership. I think that's what people miss too in marriage. I think boyfriend and girlfriend is different, right? Because there's no real commitment. But when you're married, I think there's a commitment that we are in this together, regardless of who's contributing what, because it's not 50-50.
Right. And when you're married, you have marriage laws that protect you.
It's not even
laws.
Dating,
I don't think it's about laws. Not the legal aspect.
Right.
Yeah, but so are you saying, Samantha, are you saying that it should be 50-50 or it shouldn't? Or it depends on the circumstance?
I think it depends on the circumstance. Not everything needs to be 50-50, and there is no 50-50. Because everybody contributes in different ways.
Well, we're talking about financially, like monetarily. Like if the bill is $1,000, should you pay $500?
Listen, it's impossible.
Partner pay $500?
It's impossible. I make $55,000 a year, and he's making $150,000, $200K. Ain't no fucking way I'm paying.
But what if you made $150K?
That's
you
all right.
made $55,000,
no problem.
And he feels because you are the breadwinner, you should be contributing more.
As I should.
Are you okay with that?
Of course.
I think in 2022, about to be 2023, there's nothing wrong with the woman being the breadwinner and contributing more in the household.
I think the bigger issue is when children come into play. I think men, I'm not going to say all men, most men don't understand the amount of work it is to rear, raise, and take care of a baby and multiple children in the home. They downplay it. This always goes back to the whole child support thing. Why I got to pay child support for her to get her weave done? Okay.
Right.
Okay. Like the kid don't gotta eat, the kid don't need diapers, the kid don't have to take a bath.
Yeah.
Men, because they're not, it's what's the saying?
Out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
So if I'm not there to do it and I gotta pay child support for this child, then I'm thinking that $200 a month or whatever that's crazy if it's $200 a month. but it know that the mother's doing it on her own.
Right.
And you have to understand that these children eat shit, and the same way you have clothes, they have clothes. The same way you eat, they eat. If you're an active parent, there's school shit you gotta pay for. Every month I'm paying for some shit for these kids,
And
right?
activities.
And activities.
Extracurricular.
So when you put that into play, people don't understand that the role of being a housewife is a strong role. You are the leader of your home. You can go and run the CEO of a company. You can. People try to downplay it. Even today, other women will act like, oh, she's just a housewife. This is other women.
Yeah.
Right? And that's dumb as fuck. Because and then you're gonna be in that position.
Right.
And when you have to wake up at 2:00 in the morning with your eyes burning and you ain't sleep to go give somebody some fucking titty milk, and when you haven't
Or
slept,
buy milk.
or buy milk. Well, you know what? I wasn't a big breastfeeder.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, well, I don't like to use at the end of the day too much. It's like a filler term.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, like, 50-50 is not realistic. It's only going to be whoever makes the most should contribute the most. It just makes the most sense, especially in New York City.
Right.
If you're a stay-at-home parent, then there has to be a conversation. But sometimes you don't want the man to be resentful that you're a stay-at-home parent, or the women, because they become resentful. They leave in the house and they see you in bed.
Hello.
Yeah.
Absolutely. How do
And they
you
get
feel
mad.
about it, Rafi?
Right.
What's your take?
I mean, I feel like I've been in both positions. I've been a stay-at-home wife, and it's not 50-50 at all, ever. You're always gonna add, and sometimes, regardless if your mate is the one out there working, you're contributing to the home financially, but even emotionally. I just think it's never a 50-50 split all the way. That's like, okay, I like Ben & Jerry's ice cream. You don't like vanilla fudge. So if we're going grocery shopping, you have to pay for your ice cream because I don't like ice cream. Something like that.
I would hope no one's that petty.
No, but
People are though.
That is Teddy LaBelle.
Right, but
People are petty.
the movie The Joy Luck Club,
Oh, I
there
love
was a
that
couple
movie.
that was
I
just
love
like
that
that, and the man believed in splitting everything down the middle. And the wife went along with it for a while because she was like, you know what, that's fair, because it's fair to split every bill, split every grocery, rent payments, whatever, mortgage. However, the mother came to visit and was like, you don't even like ice cream.
Right. What are you
Why are you
doing?
splitting the bill
Right.
for ice
Exactly.
cream?
Right.
Well, not even that. You're splitting the bills in the home for financial reasons, but you're not splitting the work. The
Right.
emotional
Right.
work,
Yeah.
the work
Right.
of rearing your family, that's emotional labor.
Right.
That's fucking sweat equity,
Right.
and you're not putting it in. You're just coming home, taking off your shoes, and going to bed.
Right.
Taking a shower, going
Having
to bed.
dinner ready
And
for
having
you and
dinner.
go to bed.
Let me make it more specific. Jeannie, I'll ask. If you purchased a home and it's your house and you meet a mate and he moves in with you, do you expect for him to contribute 50% towards that mortgage because you feel like you own this home? And if he agrees to that, are you going to say, is it okay if he says, can you put my name on a deed?
Good question.
Is this as a single woman?
As a single woman going into a
Going into a relationship,
partnership,
yeah.
a relationship.
Not a marriage.
Not a
Because
marriage.
and that's a given.
Right.
Remember, marriage is there to protect.
Yeah.
And yeah, people like to say, "Oh, marriage is this, marriage is that," but it's there. It's a legal document that's gonna.
But it
hold
all
up.
depends if you have a prenup, right? And you
Right, and then you can work that out. But
And even
can you
even
talk
without
about
the
partnerships?
prenups,
Go ahead, Jeannie.
yeah.
even
I think every situation is authentic and genuine to the people involved. I can't expect 50-50 if he doesn't make what I make. I've been doing it on my own all along, and then here he comes, and let's say he's making 42 or 45,000. I can't really expect 50-50 in that case. So no, I wouldn't expect him to pay 50-50. However, if he is my partner and we've been together for a prolonged period and I see genuine commitment and something can evolve from this, I wouldn't mind putting him on the deed.
And if the roles were reversed, if you were moving into his home and he's like, well, you're living here now and I would like for you to contribute to the rent, how would you feel about that?
I absolutely should. I'm not a squatter. I'm not a homeless person.
You know,
I
this-
think that you should contribute to your home because that's where you reside. And there's a person there that you love. Wouldn't you want to help ease their constraint and their
Yeah.
burdens?
financial.
It's a partnership. So this also came up in a conversation I was having with someone too. She mentioned about if you were married to someone, say you were a really well-off woman, you started a business and your business was doing amazing. You have millions and millions, like you're doing really good, right? You get married, things are going well, but now you get divorced, right? Let's talk, it's basically like a Mary J. Blige situation. right? Now she has to, they go to court, now she has to pay him, or vice versa. Should
Alimony, right.
should he have to pay from the business that he or she grew prior to even marrying you? Because a lot of times it goes whatever, I don't know how it goes.
Whatever
I know
you
that it's
acquired
divorce.
during the marriage.
But
Yeah.
it's whatever you acquired during the marriage, but doesn't it have like whatever you
I-
acquired as far
I don't
as
think it should
where you
date
are
back.
today?
I don't think it should date back from the beginning. Maybe when he stepped in, because wasn't he kind of managing her as well?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about managing. I'm just saying.
Oh,
I was giving that
It's
to
in
reference.
general. Well, it depends what the husband contributed to
The
that
business.
the business.
After the fact.
Yeah, once he stepped in the
Now.
relationship, not before.
But okay, say he
That's
didn't contribute or she didn't contribute to the business. He wasn't a banker. He was doing nothing towards the business. But as a housewife, you contribute to the household. You're taking care of the home. You're taking care of the kids. Should she not get something from that business because she made his life easy during the time
Well, that's what
that
usually
he had to go to
happens,
work,
right?
right?
Yeah, that usually
So
Very
you're saying,
fast.
you're asking if should she get a portion of his business,
Business,
and
yeah.
his personal?
Well, doesn't the business? I don't know how this works. So this was
The
just a
business
question.
takes care of the,
The personal, right? So shouldn't she or he, because it could be vice versa, get a portion, or because people, when they get divorced, people fight for that. Like
Yeah.
I want 50% of all his money.
Yeah.
All his money is everything that he put in the business. 50% of his business, because that's his personal. Should that person be allocated, or
I feel like they
be
should get
awarded
some
that?
type of award
Compensation.
from it.
It
That's what the
depends.
Kobe,
Listen,
right?
Listen, at the end of the day, this is who you pick. And you know who you're gonna marry. You know this person. If this person was shit before the marriage, you're gonna be shit during the marriage.
I think divorce makes it a different ballgame.
Yeah.
I listen, when you break up with people act different. They
Yeah,
are who they
they
are.
are.
It turns into a whole
They
different
are
monster.
older and they're like, what's the
A
person?
whole
But there's always
different monster.
nuances of who they are during the relationship.
You think so? I
Yes,
don't think so.
I
Because
I think so. I think you can.
Sometimes you don't
I
see
think
it.
people tell you who they are differently, and you just don't pick up on it because you choose not to, or you don't
Absolutely.
see it.
That I
People
agree.
tell you who
that I
They
agree
show
with, but when
you-
it comes to
It's
divorce
up to you if you
or
want to believe it or not.
Hello.
They
But I
will
think
reveal who they
in
truly
these
are.
types of instances, prenuptials are
That's what I
is
said.
another conversation.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
something that's very important
That's
when
what I
you're
said.
embarking on a relationship or a true, genuine marriage partnership with someone.
Right.
I mean, look at this girl. She has the NDA agreement now. right?
Army? Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you think that's real? You think she really makes men sign an
I don't
NDA?
believe
They
that that's
sleep with
real.
her?
Why not?
I mean,
Men make
it's-
women sign
well,
these
not
type
sleep
of
with her.
things all the
It's-
time.
they
do.
date.
The celebrity
It's
men.
to date.
It's
Like
like
that show on
Yeah.
Hulu
And
that we
remember,
were
her,
watching.
if anything, I don't think she came up with it. It's probably her dad was like, listen, if you don't want your business out there,
Right.
you need to start doing
I think
that.
it was probably her mom.
You did?
Oh,
I think
either one. I
Mama
think either one of
Marjorie
those
probably
parents.
was
I think
like,
both.
I think both
Yeah.
of them are very
We
protective.
can't have your name out here in these
Yeah.
streets if
Yeah.
you're dating and you know.
Right.
So, but
We need to have a
so
conversation.
since
with
we
you.
segued into that, into dating, you know, from prenup, splitting it down 50-50. Now, the next topic is, have you guys ever faked an orgasm?
How we got to that?
Absolutely.
I don't know.
That went from
That's
It was from dating to, you know, signing.
Money to how do you did you guys
Because if it's an
fix it?
orgasm, we're
Yeah,
together
that
before orgasm.
That's a big jump.
Well then.
I just want to keep it a little spicy and fun. I didn't, you know, I felt it was getting too serious with the
Too heavy.
50-50 and, you know,
Yeah,
so
Right.
I just wanted to segue to that topic right there.
Oh.
Who wants
Well,
to go?
you should
Who wants
answer because you didn't answer the last
I
one.
faked many orgasms, okay? All right. I've been there, done that. And it's just, as women, we don't always orgasm through penetration.
Right.
You know, some people may, some people may not. It's just not that easy. And we need to be stimulated mentally, like physically. It's a whole process with us. Men are different. They just see it, they want it, they pump and dump, and they're good.
Pump and
It's
dump.
easier.
You know,
so
so
much easier.
it's just something that we've just had to do as women, you know, and it's sad because the men be like, "Did you come? Did you come?" Be like, "Yeah."
No, I didn't think it.
So you don't think
Never.
ever.
Maybe when I was like in my first, I didn't even know what it was in my first relationship. I was just like, what's happening? What is this? But no, I just would be like this.
What does
Wait,
that
what do you
mean?
mean? What do you just make a
You
face?
just
stare.
you just like stoic?
No,
Just
nothing.
If it's a ooh ah because it's feeling nice, but it was never like no big like fake pen. No, never. I used to be like okay.
Not a fake, but while they're, you know, doing their due,
You
or
have
like,
to make a little bit.
That's not making orgasm. That's making noises, but not even
But
that.
sometimes
That is
you
fake.
make
That
that
is.
because you're
That's helping the process.
right.
of-
Yeah.
Are you making those noises?
I
to
make
him
noises
think
if
that
it
he's
feel-
doing it.
I make those noises now. It depends on where I was in my life. As a younger person, I may have made those noises because I felt, I felt it. But if I didn't feel it, I would be very like,
Quiet, mute.
not quiet, but like,
Okay.
Well, did they receive that as you enjoyed it?
I don't know
They
what
did?
they received that as.
Hopefully the room was dark and they
Yeah.
didn't see
It was
that.
always dark time.
I mean, technically, when you're younger, do you really even care about
No.
genuinely care about how they feel about your reception of them?
Right, no.
So
Yes.
to defend you, I feel like it's valid to just be looking and staring at your partner and not saying anything
Right.
because you don't know any better then.
Right,
But
and you're,
now-
and then you're more embarrassed. Remember back then we were taught to
Okay,
be a
I'm
certain
not
way.
talking about young. I'm talking about more.
Well, as an adult,
in
now.
20s, 30s.
Now.
Well,
Nah.
20s is still
Yeah.
young. In my 20s, I was still scared to say certain things and do certain things in my 20s. I was still scared to say
Right.
this is what I like, this is what I don't like.
Right.
I didn't reach orgasm.
And you may not.
So you
They
may
have not
this
known.
somewhat.
Yeah. you
I
may
never
not have
faked
known.
an orgasm, baby. I never said, I never had an
Not,
explosion.
I mean, you don't have to be screaming like that.
Right, I never did that, and
But
I
she's
never,
saying no.
and I never moaned when I didn't have to. You know what I'm saying? And
That's
I never did all of that because I felt, first of all, I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed to even show, even if
Catholic
it felt that way, I was still like, Ches, oh my God, I don't think I'm whatever. I was embarrassed. I had to grow out of that. So it depends on the stage you are in life. So when I was younger, 25 and below, no, I didn't fake nothing.
What about now?
Well, now I have a husband, and I had to tell him what I want. Like, nigga,
But you never faked it with your husband
No, I
to
don't
make
fake
him feel
it.
good?
Never,
No.
ever, never.
No.
Just to get them
That's
off
a
you because you were
beautiful
tired.
No,
of
and
it.
now listen, if I wanted Steve to hurry up, if I wanted
Right,
my husband to hurry up, I would say hurry up.
Okay.
Okay, so she's more vocal. She knows what she wants. Her partner have that communication, understanding.
Because we've been together for a long time.
So maybe they know what
So you
It's
have
other's
that, you have
bodies.
that comfort.
Yeah.
Right. But like I said in the past, if I was in a new relationship or if I was just scared, I wouldn't say anything. I would just be like, but I wouldn't be moaning, I'd be quiet. But that goes into also, I didn't want to show, even if I enjoyed it too much, I didn't want to show that I did because I was, the perception that
Where did
I
that
should
come
have-
from? Why didn't you want to show any?
Because I didn't know
emotion?
any better. And that's how I was
You
raised.
didn't want to show that you were enjoying it?
I didn't
or-
want to show that I was enjoying it. I didn't want to show that I was like liking this. 'Cause I didn't know. I just felt weird about it. I felt like, oh my God, he's gonna think that I'm a prostitute.
Like you were committing a
Because
sin.
you
Yeah,
like
I'm committing a sin. No, honestly, I
Is
did.
it,
Because
is
she
it
has-
because you
no.
were raised Catholic?
Yeah.
Because she has real Catholic
I do
guilt.
have.
That's a
I
real
have
thing.
big Catholic guilt.
No,
my
but I,
grandmother.
feel, but I feel like there's a difference between overdoing it to show that you're a whore or just enough to show that you enjoyed it.
No,
I
I think
don't know
when
any better.
I mean,
I
anybody
don't know any
who
better.
went to the Catholic school they talk about like this is wrong. Don't
Yeah,
do
but
that,
when I
touch
did it,
yourself,
when I
everything
did it
is
with my
wrong.
partner the first time, I showed that I enjoyed it. I wasn't moaning,
But maybe
screaming, but I
that's-
showed that I was
Be-
enjoying
because
it.
you didn't enjoy it.
I did.
But,
That's what I'm
But
saying.
she's saying that she didn't even show that if she did. She,
No, I didn't.
but she's
That's what I'm
saying
saying.
that was that's her story.
Right.
No, that's why I'm asking. That's why I was asking. So you didn't show no emotions.
I was just. I
She
don't
was
know.
scared
Yeah,
just said
I
that
was
she
more
was
scared.
scared.
and felt guilty.
And I felt guilty.
And do you remember, probably not, how the other person received
I do
it?
not remember how they received it.
Okay.
I don't know. So faking, I think. Oh well, Eleanor doesn't fake it, but I think everybody fakes it.
Maybe
a lot of
faked
women.
it.
I can't say
short-term
everybody,
memory loss.
but
Maybe I
I
have
think a lot of
faked it.
people fake it.
I
as
don't
a way
remember,
to be
though.
like, all right, babe.
I think a lot of women.
And sometimes you want to give them, you want to pump their ego.
Right,
a little
exactly.
bit,
Right.
right?
That's
To
what
make
they
them
did.
feel like.
Feel
But
like
no,
a man.
They
But when
doing
you are
something.
in a committed long-term relationship and you're very close with your partner, he should know what you don't do and don't like, right? And you should be able to have these conversations and be like, hey, babe, not tonight, or you didn't do it for me tonight, but I had a good time. So, like, faking it now,
I had a good time.
faking it now, I don't do, but yeah, at some points, yeah, I'll be like, okay, let's go.
Right.
And then in order for let's go, he has to feel like he's doing something. So
Right.
fake it till you make it.
Yeah, I think every woman goes through that phase. Not all, but most women, because just like Rosie was saying, penetration sometimes is not enough. Back then when we were coming up, a lot of men didn't go downtown, you know.
They
So
said they didn't go downtown. They said that.
half of them did, half of them didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And
Somewhere
Okay.
should. I can name a few that
Jeannie's
were
never
very
had a
strict.
habit. She has her cup runneth over.
right,
I had one half where the person's
Right.
like,
So
they're
I
not
just
doing
think,
it.
I think also learning your body, or as you age in your body and your self growth, you
So
start learning yourself more.
And those guys that say they didn't, the moment you would be like, babe, I'm gonna go find someone else who's going to, if they wanted to really keep you, they were doing that.
right. So
That was all a lie.
So let's say you're single right now and you started dating someone and they said that's something that they would never do or they're
I would
not
mess
doing
it
it at
up.
all. Is that a deal breaker?
Deal
Or-
breaker.
2022,
2022.
Absolutely.
At my big age?
Yeah, that's your big.
At this age.
At my big age, yeah, that's a
That's
dub.
a big
No,
deal
I don't know.
breaker.
What do you
Foolishness.
think?
I
Under a
Some
rock?
people still, there's
Whoa.
still people out there that's like, no, I don't do that.
That's
I
true.
only
have
works
a
for
friend
the-
of mine that,
That only works for the
dating a
women who
guy
don't
and
even enjoy it. Like
No,
some
that's
women
what
generally
women
don't
do.
enjoy it. Sorry. No, some women generally don't enjoy it, so maybe that would work
who
for
doesn't
them.
enjoy it?
There's a few women who are like,
There
they don't.
there are some women
Yeah,
that
who don't
there
enjoy
was a podcast with
Really?
Yeah.
That
I'm
doesn't
saying-
enjoy cunnilingus?
Yeah.
Or is it's fellatio is when you're giving it to the guy. Cunnilingus
Yeah.
is when.
You said it right.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
Amanda Seals in her recent podcast said she does not like her man to. Oh, they were talking about eating butt, so that's different. Sorry.
No, but there's
She
some
was like,
women
she's
who don't enjoy
No,
it.
that's
don't care
eating,
for
but
it.
and I agree with Amanda Seals. I
She
don't
said,
want
no,
nothing,
don't do that.
I
So
don't
sorry.
want nothing in. Don't put nothing by my butt.
Not even tickle it.
Don't put your finger by my butthole. Don't put your tongue
Don't
by
lick
my
it,
butthole.
nothing.
Don't lick it. Don't go
You said
around
tickle
it.
it, Farrah?
Don't tickle my butthole. I'm so. Please don't do that, because it will be like a reaction. I would feel like a violation. I won't know. I feel like a person in jail. I would be like, okay, we gotta fight now. Do not do that.
now. Really?
Do not do that. I do not enjoy it. I don't see the
so
love
sorry
in it.
about that.
No, I don't. No, don't do it. And I would not. I'm not. No, don't do that to me. That's
So it
not
wasn't cunnilingus. It was.
It was anal.
tossing the salad.
It was tossing the
That's
salad.
all.
Sorry.
Okay.
It was,
Okay.
anal penetration, negatory.
Negatory.
Anal sucking of my anal, negatory. Because I know what
Or
I'm
the young people say now, eat ass.
I don't want nobody
Straight
eat,
to the point.
I don't want nobody eating my ass. I don't want nothing around here. Nothing.
I mean, I think that's specific to each his own. I think
But
some
yeah,
people,
right.
some couples enjoy those things.
I
Some
don't
people know
know.
how to do it and some people don't.
Correct, that too.
How do you know that, Farrah?
Because you'll know once they start doing it.
Or maybe if you like that person, it's
Yeah.
better because
Yeah.
you feel for them
Because
versus
some people
someone you
start
don't like.
exactly start doing it, you be like, no, I'm good. Let's just keep it up front.
Right.
And then some people you're like, okay.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah. So it depends.
It's the same thing with, like Rosie likes to say, cunnilingus. I know I was using that big ass word.
Cunnilingus.
Cunnilingus. I can't even
Cunnilingus.
say it so big.
Oh, speaking of that too, so in Hot Topics, they're saying that in Indonesia that they are banning couples from living together or having sex with one another unless they're married, and that is more of a religious thing. But what is your take on that? Do you believe that you should make it official and be a couple before you have sex? I know this is so old because we're more in a progressive time in our lives in this world.
So before marriage or just before being a couple?
Well, before
You
marriage.
mean? Oh,
Before
I think what
marriage,
she
no.
means being a couple as far as like
Yeah.
being exclusive,
Living
not
together.
not
Yeah.
dating.
living.
No, I feel like you
cohabitating.
should have sex before. You need to know what you're getting into. Because some people have a beautiful package on the outside, and then when that hits it, you're like, that blows out the package. You'd be
But
like,
listen,
you know what?
if
No,
both of
no.
y'all never had sex before y'all got married, and y'all get married, y'all learning each other together.
That's different.
You don't have
Yeah.
you don't have anything
You have no
to
reference.
gauge.
You have no
Yeah,
reference.
that's
Nothing
true.
to
Yeah.
gauge.
That's
Right,
true.
but if there is something nice in
Yeah.
There's something
There is
different.
something nice in
Absolutely.
that, especially if it comes correct. Like, I'm sorry, I'm one of those people where size matters to me. So if we're doing it,
yeah?
and
Size
does
size
not-
only
and I
matters
size
to you
small.
because you reference, you have gauge points. If you never had it before, how would you know what to miss?
But I would think if something's very small and going in,
If
it's
you
not-
No,
it's
you
not
wouldn't
working
know.
for me.
You wouldn't
I
know.
wouldn't know.
That's what we're talking about. Like if
necessarily.
you don't know
There's
what
so-
you're missing,
When
how do you
you
know you're missing?
genuinely like love someone, there's so much passion between you that would you even know it's missing?
But let's say you.
I
You
don't
would have to be
know, I
watching. You would have to be watching pornography. If you don't want, if you never had sex before, you have to be watching porn to know what size is. I got
But
it.
porn is not even your good way of.
It's
Right.
not.
Okay.
But if you're someone,
And is it
who's-
really size? Because I think it's how you feel about the person.
I
It's how
agree,
the person
yeah,
makes
I
you
agree.
feel. Because somebody
I feel
can
like it's
touch
both.
you and it can make you feel
Right,
a certain
I
way.
never
It
had
can
it.
evoke an
and then they
emotion.
touch when you like when you get into the bedroom, you like, and next thing you know, it's,
Yeah.
you know, that's
Like, what is
I
it
mean,
doing?
it all depends
No,
how
I
the foreplay
totally-
is. It depends
depends
I
how
mean,
sensible
I
they
think
are.
it's
I think it's
Yeah.
about the chemistry. I think it's about the chemistry more so than the touching and all of
Absolutely.
that. It's a
Absolutely.
lot more that goes
I had a
into it.
situation in my past pre-marriage
Mm-hmm.
that I was, it was passion, it was all of that, and when it came time, it was the worst thing ever.
Was it because of the size?
It was because of the size.
It wasn't.
So it was nothing else.
I don't even know if it was the
So
size.
that's a
One second. I don't even know if it was the size or if it was what happened.
So
or
when
the
we talk
person
about
was
the
nervous.
size, was he too big or was he too small?
To be honest, too big.
That's not a problem.
No, it is a problem.
That is
No,
a- that is
a-
when
that
someone,
is
when,
gross
Michelle.
problem.
well, yeah, when someone is too big, that's too much. Like, come on now, what are we doing? And goodbye. But I don't know if it was too big or it was too small because I don't remember. But I remember it was like, oh god, okay, it was great. We were this hot. Oh, wow. And then when it came time, the act wasn't even completed because the person was so, I guess, nerve set in. I don't know what happened, and it was just. So there can be chemistry. There can be this heightened sense of like, yes, this is going to be the most amazing, mind-blowing situation.
So
and then
he
it
went
goes,
limp.
But there's a difference between
So
having
how old
that
was he though? Because he could have
we
some
can't,
heart
we don't have to
issues.
get.
Yeah.
No, but there's
He was
a
young.
difference between that
No,
initial.
she was young, but
He was young too.
Yeah, she was young too.
He was
He
young
was
too.
young too. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so maybe
But I
he
think
was
there's a
nervous.
difference between
Yeah.
that initial chemistry that you feel everybody's hot, and that emotional, intimate connection that you get with someone, right? Because when you are in love and you are intimate and you love this person, I don't think the size matters at that
I
point.
agree.
To me, I feel like
That
maybe for me,
problem.
from my experience, is nothing that feels better than when your vagina perfectly fits with the penis.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So,
absolutely. There's
so
nothing
whatever
better than
size
that.
that is for you, that's what
But
you
then-
should have.
I think
I think that's what you should
I
have as a
think
bare
that
minimum.
goes into another question for me. Do you like it curved or do you like it straight?
Oh wow, these questions.
I mean,
today. It's like my shit
We
wrapped
gotta
up.
put a PG
You
back
like
to
it
it. I want my
curved,
kids
or do
like
you
my
like it-
For real.
I think that's an anatomical preference.
I mean,
like
mhm.
you know, if your uterus is like, to the side, or then maybe you would want a curve. I think that's an anatomical
it matters.
Curve doesn't
preference.
for me.
I don't think it matters.
It doesn't
Like if you
matter.
have an inversion, or it would matter. But
Inversion.
It's like your
This is the nurse. This is the house nurse. What's the inversion?
like if your uterus is not like standard
Gotcha.
anatomic position, it's
Like mine.
inverted. or
Mine is
it's-
inverted.
It's backwards, really.
Okay.
It is. Mine is inverted.
So
How did you
so what
learn that it
happens?
was inverted? Through child?
I learned that it
Mirror.
was inverted when I went to get my pap smears before my children, and it was it was a terrifying, painful experience because she was like, oh, and when they would scrape it, she goes, oh, it's hard because your thing is tilted, inverted. That's why we get a little more drama with you. So that's how I know. And my mother's is inverted as well, because she told me the same thing. So our uterus is at a different angle,
Gotcha.
so things are a little more hurtful.
So to make it more interesting, so let's say you've been with, you're in your older years, you're single, you're dating, you meet a guy, and you're like, I think this is the one, and he agrees, I think you're the one, and you both say, let's wait till we get married to make it official and really have
I would love
make
that.
love for the first time.
I
'Cause
would love that.
Ciara and Russell did it, and they look happy. They have two or three children now.
They probably
They
are
look
happy.
happy. We don't know what happens in the bedroom, but do you think that's something that you would do, or do you think that's
I think it would be something I could do, but they will have to be. Is it that we're not doing any touching at all?
I doubt that.
no? You
No,
can kiss,
just not
but just
the
not penetration.
Trading.
No
Then,
penetration.
yeah, I think if we could play around, because I need to know if this is the right size.
Yeah, you can
right,
see
you know
it.
what I mean?
No,
but I
speak.
I know, but like
being
not
the right size.
Oh, not right side, but I need to know what you're working with. I need to know what you're working with.
gave a whole
Wait,
Right,
okay,
you
that's
love
not
somebody.
okay. I changed what I said. I need to know
You
what you're
rescind.
working with.
You
Right.
recant
Because the
your
size,
statement.
what
She's
let me
recanting.
recant my statements. I'm sorry. I have to know what you're working with. It could be small, but because I'm so connected with you, it may
Here we
be.
go. Here we go. That's why you chuckled. Okay.
Okay, no, but
I would actually love that.
I think it gives a different kind of like end result.
Apart, I like to consider myself not religious, but a spiritual person. But even apart from that, I'm just tired. I don't want to have sex anymore just to have sex. I want to have sex with my person.
Mm.
And I would love if someone was willing to do that with me.
Nice.
The end.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I agree. Yes.
I agree too. I think so too. I know, Farrah, you're gonna say you need to know ASAP.
You know, no, but I think my situation is because I think once we're like you said, we're having a great relationship. He's pretty much everything I want, and then I think my anticipation once we have sex is like, okay, at least be above to whatever. And then if it's small, I think that disappoint. No, if it's
say no way.
it could be that too. But that's what I'm saying.
Wait, we're not talking about.
No. If it's
waiting until you make
Yeah,
it
that's what we're
right.
talking
That's
about.
what we're
Making
talking
it
about.
work.
Waiting.
I don't think I would wait.
You
Okay.
don't want.
Because-
You don't want to wait.
I don't want to wait because I know myself. Once we cross that bridge sexually, if it brings me down, like I'll be very disappointed. It's gonna be very challenging for me to really remind myself, oh, but he's great here, and then now every time we're about to make love at that point, I feel like I'm gonna have to set myself up to, you know what I'm saying, to try to enjoy it or allow him to do whatever he needs to do. Because
But what about,
going
why
out
is he
is-
allowing him to do what he needs to do?
It's
This
like
is
you're
the
allowed
thing, you
to
guys are
talk
so
to
connected. You can have that conversation, babe. Not to hurt your feelings, but this is not. This part of this sexual relationship is not working for me,
talk
and
about
I
it.
need
Yeah, we can
I need
talk
you to
about
do
it.
X, Y, and Z instead. I need you to position yourself this way instead, because at this point you're connected, right? You have this open communication relationship that you're able to talk about what you don't want and what you
Yes,
don't
I'm
want.
gonna talk, but I also have the fear that we can talk and
Or
talk,
what you do.
and it
Or what
may
you do
not
like,
work.
What constitutes
Sexual chemistry.
great sex for you, and what constitutes great sex for Samantha?
Right, maybe
Two
two
different
different
things.
Exactly.
And for
Right.
you, 80% of the sex it seems like is size matters.
Yes.
Maybe 95. So you're saying that you have to be, you
That's
gotta have that thing.
Meaning like big enough for me, for my
Yes. Perfect size.
Exactly.
But what's
that's
the-
the
but
big
or perfect size, whatever perfect size.
you
For
know.
her vagina hole.
That's where my vagina
That
hugs
fits,
you,
that
like,
hugs it.
Right.
She
And
doesn't
then
want,
that's
she doesn't want
fine
extra,
with
you don't
me.
want gap it.
Exactly.
Space.
I don't want it
She doesn't
falling
want a
out,
whistle.
gapping,
Tight
because
layer.
people. Oh, I don't.
Wait,
no.
but
Because
I don't want
gonna
to
bring up.
flashback.
No,
wait,
Oh,
but
yeah.
does that mean that you wouldn't be able to wait though at all? So let's say you're with him. You guys go through the emotions. You guys are gonna be doing the touch and feeling all throughout before the first act. So you already know what he's working with.
Right.
Would I be able to wait? I probably can't be disciplined, but I'll try.
So
But at my ripe old age, you can agree with me.
Farrah can't
We've
do
been
it.
very horny, so it might be very challenging this day and age for me. Maybe when I was in my 30s and 20s, when I was still kind of finding myself, I would probably have more patience. But now, speaking to Eleonora, like the wind blows, I'm like, help me.
So my question is, would that be
My
a deal
sexual
breaker
is
for you?
heightened.
Right, that's
What
the
if he has
question.
everything, right? And then you do it before
Like I
marriage?
said, I would.
And
I
that's
would
something-
take it. I would try. I don't know if I would make
And that would be a
deal.
deal breaker if he's like everything else, but his penis is not the size, or.
But
Yeah.
listen, in Farrah's defense, we only got a few good years left, baby.
That's true.
We're not gonna be out here, not having fun in our last few good
I
years.
agree.
You know,
I totally
imagine.
agree.
And then so she's not happy with this. This is a key part
But
for her.
everything else, he checks off every single
But
box.
if he
But
can't
that's
stop-
one box where
but
he's not
listen,
the right size.
vice
You're gonna be
versa,
like,
vice
what if
versa.
it was a millionaire, Farrah? Because you're looking for that millionaire.
I am.
That truly.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna.
She's
I'm not gonna settle for.
Multi-millionaire.
I'm not gonna
Everybody's
just
a millionaire.
settle because okay, he has the money. You know what I'm saying? Like it's.
No, that's how he was like,
No, I
said he has some money. I'll be his wife.
No, remember last time I
Have all the
said,
money.
but you know, when Rosie was saying that, what if he this or that, whatever, like the swimming pool and all that, and I'm like, no, I'm not just gonna jump on somebody like, you have you're a millionaire, I'm rolling with you. And I'm like, no, because he has to fit in.
Fit all those
everything.
other parts.
You know
So
what
you
I'm saying?
rather broke dick if it feels
Broke
good,
dick
or
be good,
rich
though.
dick and it's not good.
Broke
Like,
dick-
what-
broke
what-
dick be-
But listen,
Okay.
broke dick be good because that's all they got. So they're working hard, like they know everything.
I
don't
They
do
study
You don't want it,
the
but sometimes those are the good ones
No,
because
I agree.
they got nothing
I'm
else to
saying,
lose.
like you said, we have a few years, so.
What does it mean though? Like what does broke dick mean and rich dick mean? I mean, know what it means technically, but what I'm saying is, if someone, what is broke to you, and what because at this, it's
You know what we mean. They ain't got a job. They got a man,
I don't
person.
think at the end of the day, an
They
age.
can't offer you nothing.
And I don't think at this age we're meeting men.
But I'm
don't
just
have a
saying,
place to
there are
live.
some people that are single. There are some people that may meet, in this day and age, and they're at their age, at our age, that are on the single dating scene.
Right.
Right, but what I'm saying is I find it hard to believe that at this age that if Farrah were to date anyone new, that this person would be living with their mom. You know what I'm saying? I'm not
Why not?
surprised.
Why not?
I don't know. I just have hope, I guess.
Depends how they live with their mom. Are they paying the bills and mommy's just there
Right.
because they want to?
Yes,
support
it's different
their mom?
levels.
It can be
They're
couch
supporting, and that's not living with your mom. That's being a caretaker. And,
Or living
Right, because we
together.
are at that age where our parents are older and we might have to take care, they might have to stay with us. That's a different situation.
Right.
But if the mother's social security check is paying for the rent and we're using her snack for food, then that's the
No,
problem.
no. That's ridiculous.
Then that's the problem.
I mean,
That's
that's
a very
that's
big problem.
a stretch. Yeah, that is a
But
stretch.
couch surfers exist, guys, and they're very handsome,
Right.
and they pack a load.
Mhm.
So you might
kind
find
of load?
yourself sometimes.
The load that Farrah's looking for.
But then they wouldn't be my man. They would
The
just
doozy.
No, I'm saying that we were talking about size. That's
Oh yeah, and that's
Sometimes
most of
you might
them.
find yourself in a position where you're like, you know what, I'm gonna have a good time. I can't fair enough.
You know, I have.
But I'm gonna have a good time for now. And then you keep having that good time, you keep having that good time, and you're like, is this a relationship? What's happening? He's
Right,
always
right.
at my
Because
place.
once again,
Right.
we only have a home because he doesn't
He
have
doesn't have a home. And that's when it comes.
No,
the
But that's
best.
those type of guys don't want relationships anyway. They want to have fun with all the different
but this happened.
options that they have.
This happened with some. Okay, if anybody knows, I'm on Instagram a lot. So this happened. This was a post that somebody posted a story of hers that she started dating this guy. He was amazing. They went on a beautiful date. Blah blah blah. Of course, like within a week or two, he slept over, and the first day he was like, "Can I just stay? Cause I have something to do this afternoon." She was like, "Okay, you can stay while I go to work."
Wait,
'Cause you're leaving.
The first date initiated because he wanted to cook her a
Oh
home
yes.
cooked meal.
So she was
And
like,
he
okay.
came over with no
groceries.
Oh no.
That was
What
red
is he
flag
thinking?
number one.
He
Yeah,
used,
that's a
he
red
used
flag.
the groceries out of her fridge and her cabinets to
Right.
make the meal, and then he spent the night.
Right, he spent the night.
She allowed him to spend the
She
night.
allowed him.
Don't tell me
But
he doesn't
then,
love.
because of the date was so good, and the one thing led to another. He was handsome, charismatic. He had everything,
Well,
right?
he has to because he's a con man.
He's a con man.
A
Right?
charlatan.
So then
Charlatan.
it became this
Charlatan.
big situation
And
where
he
he was
was
swallowing.
homeless.
He was actually
He was homeless?
He was homeless.
He ended up staying with
He
her.
swaddled her, swaddled in her home. Squattered in her home, and she had to figure out. Y'all know what I mean. Y'all know.
Yeah.
Y'all know.
No, I
can't
thought you
talk
meant
about
swaddle like babies.
Right, that's what I meant.
Me
Y'all
too,
like
initially,
swaddle?
that's what
I thought
And
you
so
said swaddle like
eventually,
baby.
eventually she had to find strategic ways to kind of get him out the house. Like, I lost my apartment. Well, my light bill is about to turn off. Can you help me? He was like, I don't have no money.
Wait a minute. He never went outside? Because as soon as he went outside, the locks had changed. What do you mean?
Well, it's not her
She
apartment.
couldn't get him
If it
out?
was- No, she couldn't. Well, eventually he did end up
And
leaving.
he even told
No.
her, the minute I get mail here, this is considered
Right.
my
He's a
place
con
too,
man.
you know.
Right.
You must have had some good penis. Because there's
She
no
did say
way
it was good. She
you're
said
going
it
to
was
tell
good.
me that you
Crazy.
can't get someone out of your house. They don't go outside?
It happened.
Wait, not the first
So
date and
No, no.
Right.
I think the next day
This
she
story
got up
just
to go to
sounds-
work and she just kind of like saw him lingering and she was just like, okay, well I'm going to work. He was like, I'm just gonna hang out here if you don't mind. And she just thought, well, I had a really good time with him. Let me just let him chill for the night. And then it just turned into like a month of like misery.
First of all, when I was single, I didn't even believe in them coming to my house. I'm going to your house.
Right. I don't know.
I need to
That's
see how
scary.
you living, and my mom was not letting me let no guy out.
Right,
Let's talk about
Right.
that.
Right.
So, and even as when I got my own apartment, I still felt weird having the guy come over. I wanted to go to your place. So I just, that sounds horrifying.
So eventually she had to call the light company to turn off the light, call the heat company to turn off the heat. She had to get somebody, pay I think her landlord or somebody to act like they're evicting her, and then finally he left.
And she
But-
kept asking him repeatedly,
But
like,
can you help me with this?
help me? And he was just like,
So there was no cable.
so I'm not here for this.
What are you here for, sir?
Um,
Good penis.
How were
That's
you
it.
doing it before I got here? He just kept fake trying to gaslight her, and she was like, "What?
This
Get me
sounds
out of
crazy.
here!"
But the
Oh,
thing
yeah,
that
that's
this happens
crazy.
to
That's
this
just
guy.
audacity.
No,
Well, yeah, I think you'd be surprised. 'Cause I think
Unmitigated
this
gall.
happens to a lot more women than we think. Because women are desperate, right? Because of
Do
the
you think that she was desperate?
I don't think she was
thought going on a
desperate.
date.
No,
She probably thought it was cute.
But
Like,
this
okay,
happens.
A date that never ends,
The
though?
date that never ends. But I think this
Girl.
happens more often than we know because some women are desperate to just have some companionship, right?
Yeah.
Because the
Was that-
dating pool is really
was
like
that
this key to that.
desperation, or was it just like she didn't realize
No, for
that
her-
she took a
no,
chance and it ended up backfiring?
No, for her, I think it was she took a chance and it backfired. But I
Yeah.
think this happens more often to women where this happens and it ends up being like, damn, I'm like with a flipping.
But
like,
why couldn't
bug.
she just change the locks? I'm so confused.
Maybe it was in her place
When
to
he
be able to
goes
change the lock.
outside, call the locksmith, change the locks,
That's
and
it.
then he
Went
tries to
outside.
come
That was
over. he
Instagram.
calls
The
cops.
story could have been
I'm
fake,
so
too.
confused.
Right.
This sounds like some.
But Rosie, you're in real estate. Some of these apartment complexes, like, are you able to just
It
add
depends on the state laws.
multiple
What
locks?
state was she from?
Maybe it was
That's-
something
that's- I
in
don't
her
know. I
unit
don't know.
complex, like she couldn't.
No, but what I'm saying, it depends on the state laws and the rent laws and the squat. Every state has different laws with
Yeah.
regards to squatting and changing locks or
Right.
what have you. So maybe she wasn't able to. I
Or the
mean, at the end of the day,
complex.
this is too
Right.
much.
Probably
The
only
story
wants
is-
you to have
out
their
of control.
locks so they can enter the apartment.
Right.
That's crazy.
It all depends on the building. If
Yeah.
it's a building where you have key fobs,
Right.
obviously he needs a key fob. I would just tell him that I lost my key fob.
Deactivate
Deactivate
his.
the one that I have, or deactivate the other one that he has, and let me get a new one. And if it's a regular lock, you
Well,
get
why
a
would he even
buy a
have
lock
But then
key.
even if you
Right. How
even
can
if
you
you
even get the keys?
There's
Because-
a lot of questions.
But
to this
because
story.
he is such a good con man, even
Well, we
if
don't
you-
know if he is. We don't know that, so we're just going off of
Well,
the Instagram post.
basically
This homeless man was a very
based off
smart man.
the homelessness and the way that he maneuvered everything, he's a good con man.
Yeah.
But let's say she did do that. He would have still ran with my mail. I have a letter here. I've been living here for X, Y, and Z time.
Well, I'll see you in
You gotta
court.
let me back
But
in.
you know that takes forever and a day. That court
And then the
wish I-
police will tell
Whoa.
her to open the door. I've had that happen. Open the door and he
Yeah.
needs to stay. This is his place.
You've had a guy stay and squat.
You know who.
Oh, I remember that
And you-
story.
Oh,
When they were in
shut
Orlando.
up. Oh, shut up. How'd you get him
No,
out?
we just when they were in Orlando.
We moved. And
Yeah,
we just
we
started
know.
packing. And we were like, well, we're going back to New York. I don't know what you're going to do.
Do you deuces?
Oh my god.
I was a roommate from hell though. At
Yes,
that
he
point,
was
at
a
that
hellmate.
point, at that point, it was like we need to get away.
Right.
But I mean,
So was he a roommate or was he?
it was a
supposed
roommate.
to
It
be.
wasn't
Okay.
it wasn't a interest like that. It was
There
a
There
was
was a-
no intimacy. He was just a hellmate.
There was a story similar to that where Airbnb situation. Somebody
Oh,
rented
yeah.
a place for like a week,
Mm-hmm.
and then
The
when
person squatted there.
yeah, they didn't, and they were
never
like,
left.
they never left, and it was like, you can't kick me out, nothing. The person came, and the person was living there, like I'm renting out my room.
Yeah. I heard
And
that
she's
story.
like, okay, it's time to go. He was like, I live here.
Yeah.
And it took her months to try to get rid of it.
But the
She could
problem
not
is
do it
people are fucking
legally.
nuts. Like that's some
People
that's
are
people
crazy.
People are getting crazy. That's so malicious.
But if you
is.
were desperate, would you sleep on the street or would you just like.
I got a warm.
There is a shelter.
Yeah,
There's
that's
a
like-
shelter.
Come on,
Shelter.
you overstay your
They're not
stay.
gonna-
Every shelter is not.
They're not
a
gonna
nice
make the shelter. Yeah.
So in conclusion, we were talking a lot about relationships this episode, and we were talking about what was it we just talked about Indonesia and the
Cohabitating
cohabitation and how
before
it's illegal. We also discussed relationships in terms of 50-50. We discussed a lot of Farrah's dating life. Again. And so before we, close it out, is there anyone here, or any of the ladies that are sitting here, we've all been in relationships. What are the biggest regrets that you would say you had in a relationship or do-over? You know how you feel like, the one that got away, or something that you could have done better as in that relationship that you feel like, oh shit, why didn't I do that? Because we're getting older, right? And we're reflecting. And when we look back, we're like, damn, it could have been so much different. My life could have been so much different.
Right.
Is there anything you guys want to say, maybe not a regret, or maybe as a piece of advice on how you would tell yourself, not even a 20-year-ago you, the 10-year-ago you, because from 10 years you're different. The 10-year, what would you say, why did I do that, or how could I make that different?
So, in regards to regrets, I try not to live with regret, right? Because I feel like even if it's a situation that I'm not happy that how it turned out, or being part of a situation, I feel like there's lessons learned in those situations. So I try my best to, what did I learn from this? I think for me, some of it is giving chances. because I'm a loyal person, I give a lot of chances. And I think 10 years ago, I probably would not have given certain people so much chances.
So would you say, not the piece of advice you would give to 10 years ago, Samantha's son, I shouldn't have gave this so-and-so a chance.
What would you tell your 20-something-year-old?
Not 20, 10 years ago.
20 something.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I'm trying to make it.
Yeah. I would just tell myself, like, girl, open up, like, get out, like, don't
Stick
give
to your
this
boundaries.
right. Don't give this person so much chances. Like, get out,
Run.
run.
Rafi, what would you tell your 10 year ago Rafi who was in a dating relationship, or in general as a piece of advice? Not even a relationship, it's a piece of advice because things change. So what would you say to that Rafi from 10 years ago? The 20-something Rafi.
Well, I'm 25, just so y'all know.
Right.
What they talk about?
I'm learning from them.
Exactly.
The 20-something Rafi was more sarcasm.
Okay, I don't know what they talking about.
I'm young.
Rafi, what would you tell a 10-year ago you? Advice with regards to relationships or just advice in general?
Go with your heart. Plain and simple.
What does that mean though? Like
Meaning,
trust yourself?
Trust
your
yourself.
instincts?
Trust your instinct.
Your gut.
If you feel like things are wrong, like don't just try to settle for the moment. Like you doubting yourself about it. Just go for it. Like whether that means staying in the relationship, not staying in the relationship, making a shift, rattling the relationship up. Whatever the cause is, it's gonna happen regardless. So just trust that it's gonna be okay. Just go with your first instinct. Just that's it.
Rose, what would the 20-something Rose, what would you tell yourself?
I'm gonna have to piggyback off what Rafi said. I think once you know and your gut is telling you whether you should leave this relationship, fight for the relationship, you should listen to that, because when you prolong it because you're afraid to either hurt the person or you're like, oh, if I leave,
The
change, or this person, I love them and I can see them changing. I think like Rafi said, you have to believe in your heart and to know that you're being guided by spirit and you're making the right decision for yourself. So the sooner you make that decision, the better, because as you prolong it, it's wasted time.
Yeah.
And now you look back and you're like, damn, I wasted 10 years of my life or 5 years, and I could have moved on and started something new and fresh and been further or gotten the things that I really wanted in my life. But because I wasted so much time with this individual, now I'm just like bitter or sad or regretful.
starting over.
Farah, what would you say? What would you say to the younger Farah, the young improved Farah?
I don't regret my relationships, but I definitely would have been a little more strategic in regards to when to start, I won't say who to pick, but just to have my focus a little different. I would have been a little bit more strategic, because as I'm getting older, I see that relationships not only love, but it's
Strategic is a bugged out word to use. What do you mean strategic?
How does the heart is
I
not
was-
strategic?
Yeah,
Love
you're
is
going
not
by
strategic.
instinct. I
You're
was
going by
going
feelings
to-
and emotions.
Let her finish.
No, but it's
on
bugged out
that.
strategic.
I
Right,
think
but let me
strategic is
finish.
a weird word, but maybe
Strategic in what do you mean?
in
how?
picking my partner.
But how do you employ strategy? In
Because I only think of love. Because that's not all that goes in a relationship. That's what I mean.
So you mean strategic as in you would
That's
have
what I was
a
going to
strategy
explain.
or a plan
Yes.
of who you would be with,
Who,
not just
when.
based on love, but other
Exactly.
criteria.
Exactly.
But is that realistic? Because what if he had a small penis?
Then that's because
It's
you
realistic, because after a certain age, you think, like, you know what? It's not just love, it's partnership, right?
and penis size for you.
Exactly.
you that
Exactly.
but
So
that
that's why
strategy
we say
wouldn't work.
strategy really is a oxymoron. It
No,
really-
because once you the person, when I'm saying strategic, meaning like not only just about love, like meaning the person has everything within that package of love, right? The penis, sex, everything.
Oh, the penis got to be included.
Yeah,
it's
that,
employed
that
in
part
strategy.
package that's already included. But then also the other side, now being older, like, you know, obviously relationship, marriages and long-term relationships is a partnership. So just thinking about, you know, how seeing the red flags, because red flags come early. It's not like it comes later.
Right.
So seeing the red flags and then following your heart within those red flags. Like, oh, am I really seeing this? Or maybe I should give it a chance, prolonging it, and then you may be regretful depending on the situation.
Is strategic the right word then?
Maybe that's
So
the
then
right
that's
word
not-
to you.
Yeah.
Because this is strategic kind of, okay, maybe I'm not using the correct word, I apologize.
Don't apologize. That's what
But-
you want to use.
No, but maybe the definition is probably not clear like the way I'm using it.
Yeah.
But in that regard, so just like, you know, thinking like, okay, red flags, do I follow that? Or this person has majority of this, I'll be fine, but knowing deep down I'm probably not going to be fine, and me just almost following what our parents say, you know, stay with the person, it'll turn, tides will turn, whatever, and then sometimes the tides don't turn, you know, and you're comfortable. So it's just like, I mean, it's kind of hard as a kid to see all that, but I just think,
As a kid, 10 years ago, you were
I mean,
not a kid.
I mean, yes, but as a younger self, it's probably more challenging to see all
When you're
that.
in it, you want it to
But
work.
I just,
Yeah.
so I just, probably that's what I would change. Follow intuition sooner than later, and
So you want all your boxes checked. You should have checked those boxes off of your
Early
list
on.
early on,
exactly
and acknowledge the red flags that were there.
early on.
Your red flags.
And then a piece of me is, I want to say something too, but I'm gonna sound crazy. I don't know what to say. I'm like,
Say it.
honestly, when I'm saying strategic, meaning like, you know what? I think a lot of times, especially when we're younger or coming in a relationship, we're following love more than everything else. And maybe I should have. It shouldn't have always been love in the beginning, because sometimes you're like, yo, is this person gonna be a good partner with me, money wise, mental wise, and everything.
But how do you
I mean,
know that until you?
Well, when you start a
Embark.
relationship with the
Right.
person, you know what I'm saying? So, but
She's saying she shouldn't have waited 10 years in, or 5 years in, or 6 years in to see something she could have seen in year 1 and 2.
But did you? was
And
you
then
asking-
also, I should, and I always tell Eleanor this, and I'm like, you know what, especially when we were growing up, and it shows now, hoes are winning. Maybe I should have been more of a hoe, and had fun, and you know.
I don't agree with that.
I agree.
Wait,
What Farrah's saying is that Farrah had a limited. Well, Jeannie, we're gonna get to you, but Farrah had a limited experience with relationships,
With
before-
dating.
with dating,
dating.
and sexual
Yes.
experiences as well.
Because being from our culture, you know, sometimes it's like, oh, don't do too much, whatever. And we grew up in an era where if you were doing too much, you were considered a hoe. Now it's just being free.
And you didn't want to
being
be
you.
labeled a
And I
hoe.
didn't want to be labeled that. So maybe if I was more free with myself and just
Or had more experiences.
Experiences.
Right. If you were
Less
dating more and
experiences.
had more
Yeah.
options in the dating pool,
Then,
to
you
choose
know,
better and be
exactly.
strategic. That's
Right.
where the strategic comes in.
Right.
Yeah.
So she's saying
Right.
she had limited experience, for lack of better words, and you
Okay.
wish you had more of experience. because you
exactly
only
instead of
had-
being so conservative.
and everyone you were with was a relationship
exactly
for multiple years. So now you're like,
Everyone I was
shit.
with was relationship.
Right, and now it's like,
Yeah,
damn,
yes.
10 years,
Wow.
whatever years later,
It just
you
happened
just
like-
had an epiphany.
Right.
Right, so you haven't lived.
So
I mean,
you-
I lived.
So you would have told yourself to date more, basically.
Definitely date more.
So you can have more options. And,
Yes.
and
We
really
need to
know
know
who you
We
yourself.
need
are.
to put Farrah on the
Yeah.
Groove. That's what we need to. Groove Hotel.
Oh my god. Jeannie, what are your regrets or a piece of advice? It doesn't always have to be a regret. It could be a piece of advice that you want to give.
I think overall, just using better discernment. Like when you see people, trust who they are, how they represent themselves. That's who they're going to remain. Like
Yeah.
especially at our big age, right?
Mm-hmm.
People are going to be that person probably for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, you can't really
Um,
change people. I
so-
think that's a myth when
Do
you
not
keep
change.
saying
Stop being so considerate and you know this will pass and that's just the way they are right now. No, this is the way they are. Like, are you ready to live with that forever?
Right.
And
That's where the decision
Um,
comes. too.
yeah, and we spend a lot of time. I don't want to say waste because you do learn from your past experiences and your relationships, right? At some point, but you spend a lot of time with one person and then it doesn't work out, and then you're like, wow, he took my beauty, he took this, he took that, and maybe also the eggs in one basket concept. Maybe we need to spread ourselves out a little bit more and just be more forthcoming. Like, look, I'm still looking for my person. You're still looking for your person. Let's keep doing that and enjoying each other's company.
Right.
And stop like trying to get into these relationships that are just not working.
But I think that's more accepted now to be more out there, right? I think at one point maybe a few years ago, it wasn't that,
Yeah,
it's
right?
kinda like
It was like, you know,
More taboo.
Yeah.
It was more taboo for women.
right,
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
dating and having multiple
guys.
not
And it's still-
sexual
Obviously,
partners,
right?
right?
Intimate.
But
I mean,
even
you
if
could,
that's the
and if that's
case-
the case, that's what you want to do.
That's what you
That's
wanna
good.
do.
Like, do you, right?
Right.
But I think it was more frowned upon
Mhm.
women dating multiple men to find your person. So
Yeah.
we took that one person, we held that person down. You sat with them because you're like, oh, maybe, right? I think we're all basically saying the same thing, right?
Yeah.
In
That's why we're
different
friends,
right?
sisters.
What about you?
Oh, so what I would tell myself, well, I don't even know. Because there's so much I have a whole book I could tell myself.
Write it.
From my 10 years
That's
ago,
why.
Eleanor,
Write
I would
it.
be like, bitch, sit down, let's talk. And I would have a whole, a bunch of shit to tell that girl. Because that girl, she's a mess. But, I don't know. I just think that you have to be, like Samantha says, give yourself grace. There's no such thing as perfect.
Right.
You can't be the perfect mother, the perfect wife, because you're gonna end up in the corner with a bottle somewhere. I would also tell myself to, to take more time for her, which is the same thing as, can't be perfect. There is one more thing that I had in my mind when you guys were talking that I would tell myself, but I do not remember because at this time I forget everything. But
To piggyback off your statement, yeah, I agree. Like, be more selfish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stop pouring into others
Yes.
so much, so frequently,
Yes.
and then losing yourself in the process.
I totally agree.
being
that
more
happens.
selfish is something that I
But
would
that was-
definitely tell myself.
I think for me, the being more selfish, I mean, because I was a young parent and I used to always say to people, like, this is something I used to say to people, like, when I get a paycheck, I buy something for myself first, right? Before I even take care or do anything else, because I need to take care of me. And I used to say that because people used to be like, that sounds selfish. It does sound selfish, but you gotta be happy for you. How do you give to anybody, to your children, to your partner, to your friends, if you can't give to you?
But
right?
sometimes it's especially being a woman and growing up how I grew up. You're not taught to give to yourself, and you
Right.
have a lot of guilt surrounding giving to
Yeah.
yourself, and you feel bugged out.
Right.
You feel like a bad mom if you do
Absolutely,
certain things.
absolutely.
So I would say I don't know if I would get a paycheck to this day.
That was
and spend
just
it. No, I'm
that was
saying
just something I used to
literally.
say in my 20s because
Right.
I was a young mom.
Right, but I would not. I know you don't mean literally,
No,
but
right.
I don't think I would look back and I don't think to this day I would get a paycheck and buy something for myself. I would feel bugged out, like oh shit, I got this, and this to take care of. How am I gonna go buy myself something? I mean, I'll do it because it's quad pay and Klarna. and Afterpay. I would do that now because I'm able to do a bootleg 1980s layaway and just get it up
And that's also a matter of how you were raised, right?
Right.
Yes.
Like your surroundings, your immediate surroundings.
Yes.
Like in my household, my parents would never pay themselves first.
Right.
It would always be a family member. My father, even though he's not the oldest, was always regarded as the elder brother, the father of the brothers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and my mom just always poured herself into her children.
Right.
So
And that's what it's
Yeah.
taught. So I would tell myself, the 10-year ago, Eleanor, take care of yourself 1st. Take time for yourself, and be patient with your expectations of people. I always expected more because I gave a lot because that's just how my mother is, or that's how my family is. And I would want to say, you know what? I can still give a lot today, but I'm not going to expect the same in return more. And it's okay.
Hey, we just talked about we had that
we
conversation.
learned that this weekend.
That's a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I told you
Not
that.
everybody
Yeah.
thinks
Yeah,
like
and
you.
everyone thinks like you. Samantha told me that 30 years ago, and I was like, okay, because I would do things and I would expect the same exact thing in return.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore. When I do
False.
something for someone now, it's because I want to and
Right,
I love
right,
them and I want to
right,
share
right.
with them.
No,
And I want to
But
put them on.
is it selfish? Do you not love others when you do something for someone and you kind of expect?
You can't expect the same
Reciprocity.
thing. You can't
Reciprocity.
expect the
Right.
same in return
Disappointed.
because everybody
You're
gives
gonna get
it.
disappointed.
And everybody
Yeah.
gives a different
Right.
way.
I used to think that, but no, because you don't
Yeah.
ever. Sometimes you never get back what you pour in.
Absolutely.
No, but I feel you do, but it may not be from that person.
Right.
I
Well,
always
yeah,
say
it may not be the
energy
same
never
way.
gets lost. It always revolves. So
Right.
you may, not have formed this partnership or, close with this deal, but the deal will come in another form, another way. You'll
Absolutely.
be like, wow, God, I really was sad about not closing on that deal with this person, but look what I got with this person.
But
Right.
I think our expectation was that I did for you this way, I want you to do for me in the
The
same
same
way,
exact.
Yeah.
right? And when I say, oh, I'm gonna use picking up people in the car. I picked you up yesterday. Can you pick me up? No, I can't because I have X, Y, and Z to do. But I picked you up yesterday. I do it for you all the time. Da 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 da. But I can't do that because that's not who I am.
Right. And you
Right.
have to learn
But I pour into you in other ways. I give to you in other ways. So
Yeah.
you can't be mad at me if I told you today I can't pick you up or I can't drive you. I can't do this. I can't do that. But I gave to you in other ways.
It's like one thing undoes everything else.
Right.
Yeah.
They cannot.
And then you cannot think that way.
Well,
But
listen,
like,
I'm just gonna say this is a great topic to talk about when it comes to friendship.
Yeah, well,
Mhm.
I agree with that.
Because a lot of girlfriends
Fall out
break
because of
up
that.
because of that.
Mhm.
That one thing, like I didn't do that one thing, I didn't show up from that one time, and boom, you're not my friend. Oh, she's shady. Da da da. She's not loyal.
Oh, girl.
That girl, the amount of stories.
Girl, we can go.
I think that's young-minded people because if
No,
you know the person,
no.
are people really?
I mean, maybe they're young-minded. I agree, but they're old, grown adults at this big age.
that we keep
still-
saying.
I think people still act that way because I didn't do for you, or because you didn't come to my child's party yesterday, or because you didn't buy me the same kind of expensive gift that I bought your child. I didn't buy you that for your child. That I'm not her friend, or I didn't show up for you for this occasion or that occasion. Like people, you can't be like that. People show up for you how they expect you now,
Or how
don't-
they can
how they
show
can.
up.
But don't get it twisted when people don't show up for you.
Right.
Right?
Well, that's
Because
the
there's people who don't show up at all.
Samantha used to always tell me.
And does somebody showing up meaning they really are showing up? Like,
No.
do they really genuinely
No.
love
Or
you,
they
or
just
they
paying
there
you
for
back
the-
so they don't
you
get
know,
it.
They don't want to look
back.
back.
For the
Yeah.
amount.
Look
Or,
up
you know,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
'cause
So-
somebody may not show up, but they may send me a note or a voicemail or do something for me that makes me feel way more special than somebody that was physically there. So
Absolutely.
it all
Right.
depends on.
But Samantha used to tell me a long time ago, because it was a long time ago that I would go to people's dinners and I would kill myself to go
Yeah.
to these dinners. I didn't have the money.
Right?
And I would go there because I'm like, this is my friend. This is the person that I'm going to. And I used to go to everybody's shit. You know what I'm saying? I used to pay all the money. I didn't have it. I had kids in the home. I was a stay-at-home mom for a long time. So a lot of time I'm asking my husband to give me money so I could go support somebody else. And then when it came time for me, I'm like, damn, they didn't come to my shit. I mean, people show up for me, yes. And I'm grateful for people who do, but I'm like, damn, you know, I killed myself to go here, or I killed myself to be here, or I killed myself to drop you off, and you're not giving me that in return. And then that makes you rethink, well, not everyone thinks like you,
Absolutely.
right? Because that's what you would say. But then I always have a mother in my head, well, you have to go do this for your person, because this person is your family member,
Right.
or whatever it is. So I'm like, so now in my big age, because that's the saying for this podcast,
Right.
in my
Big
big age, I would not do that. I would do for you within like being reasonable. Like I'm not going to go out my way.
Right.
Like there will be times I will leave my man at home to do shit for my homegirls, and that's fucked up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's a patient guy because there's a lot of us.
Right.
But there be a lot of times they be like, well, why don't you do that with me?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What? What did you say, Rosie?
No, I said I hope somebody is not hearing this.
Oh well, you know what? At the end
But
of the day,
it's fair.
it's fair to say that.
It
It's
is.
fair to say that, but at the same time, I have to give time for my friendships because my friendships feed into me, pour into me. My girls
Right.
pour into me.
Right.
So I need that. I need that outlet. I'm a social person. It depends who you are. I'm a social person. I like to be outside. I like to be with my friends. I cannot be in the house all day. I'm gonna go down a depression road.
Right.
I can't do that. That's not my life.
But it's
Right.
also, just to go back to what Rosie's saying in regards to the person that showed up, but you know people's hearts.
Mm-hmm.
So the person in front of you who may have showed up for you, you could you feel energy. I'm really big on energy, how people make me feel and how, you know, the atmosphere is, the frequency like they like to use now. And you can feel that that person is genuinely there for you, right? Compared to the person who just called you who couldn't show up for you for whatever reason.
Or
and
people
called you.
who
You could
show
feel
up.
that.
People who show up.
Mhm.
And are not there to show up. They're there to see what's going on.
That's what I'm
see
saying.
you're
You
doing.
know that, you feel their vibes, you feel their
You know,
intentions.
so-
You can.
What would you rather? Someone that you know that
Don't show up
when they
for you
come,
another
they
way.
come, then they there,
Right.
or someone who comes just to say, oh, I'm here.
No.
Or
If you're
saw
not
up.
presently there, then don't come.
Don't
Because
come.
you really don't
Or I
want to
saw,
see
oh, you want to talk bad.
The
Or I went and
reporter, the
this,
reporter.
this what happened. Look at her. She wore this.
When
she
somebody
did
gets
this.
a new home, oh, let me go visit her house. You just want to come see where I live.
Right,
Or-
right,
or-
right,
or
right,
if you
right.
get married, do you invite people that you really want to be there,
Not
or
in this
you know,
big age.
That's hard.
you know,
In
that's
this
another
big
thing
age,
too.
we are
A wedding.
We are
Because
only inviting.
there's some people that are
right.
there, you know, that really aren't that important, but you know, they
You gotta pay for those people.
exactly.
Right.
That's a whole other segment in itself.
Well, you're hoping they pay.
They ain't paying them. No, you never get back.
And that's the
You
same
never.
thing too that we talked about as well. Samantha always told me because I used to go to people's wedding and I would put 100 and change in a card,
Yeah.
right? Because that's what you're supposed to do, and I would kill myself to do that. And I would do things for them as well, in regards to doing makeup for people or doing whatever. And I'm still coming in with a gift. I'm not just coming in to do that. And I feel like now as I'm older, it's either one or the other, baby.
Right.
My presence is a present, as Jay-Z said.
Yes.
So there you go.
And I say that a lot, and I know Jeannie is big on gifts giving,
Yes.
right? And I will always have this debate because I feel like your presence is a present for certain occasions.
Right.
And this is why I'm different, right? Because for my a birthday, I'm gonna say age because we're kind of. For one of my birthdays, right, it was a big birthday of mine, and I gave gifts to the people who came, right? Because to me, your presence was more than anything to me. Like, you didn't have to, because you spent money, you came, you took time away. So me giving you a gift, showing you how much I am appreciative of you. Even those who didn't come, I still gave them. I still gave them because I know that the intentions were there, right? And I think that's so important. That's why I'm so big on when people go on trips.
Me
For
too.
people,
That's what I said, me too.
I always say, damn, like that. I mean, not for y'all, but I do even say, like, damn, you could have like gotten us something for us being present for your day,
Right.
Because I think it's so, especially when people spend money, time, energy.
But I also think in our situation, we're poor planners.
Yes.
We are. We're
I'm a good planner to spend.
Very poor.
Right.
I plan for months and months.
Some of us are poor planners. Some of us are good with a good at, and you have to play on people's strengths. Like at this point, at our big age, once again, I'm gonna say it again. In my friendship, I know who's who and what's for what. So if I want something from Rafi, I know Rafi can do that for me. I'm gonna go to Rafi. If
Right.
Rosie can give me something that's specially for Rosie,
Right.
I'm gonna call Rosie.
Right.
You know,
Everybody
same thing
has a
with you.
toolbox.
Right, everybody, and now I know who to call, so I'm not gonna feel a way
Right.
if Farrah showed up for me and how Rosie
Right.
would, because Farrah and Rosie are two different people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I can't expect this from this
And
one.
this is why we are who we are.
And that's why it's amazing that we have each other
Right.
because we have, so much amazingness.
If I need somebody,
I know.
if I need
I was
somebody to ground me, I'm gonna call somebody. I'm gonna call Samantha. If I need somebody that's with the shits, I'm gonna call Farrah. Because this bitch is with the shits. If I need somebody to give me advice and give me both sides, who am I gonna call? Who's saying that you're gonna call to give me both sides of the advice?
This one.
No, her name is Raphael.
Oh, Rosie.
If I need somebody to support me and pour in, why am I getting emotional? I'm gonna call Rosie. She
Right.
always pours into you.
Right.
Oh,
And if I need somebody that's gonna ride with me, then I have G.
Right.
So,
And if you want someone to party, she ain't here, but we're calling
Calling
Kima.
Kima.
So if you need your spirits lifted,
You better
we're calling
stop.
Kima.
Do not put this in there about
why? I'm gonna be all crazy. I'm like, why the fuck I cancer?
Well, they're not even crazy.
No, and then Stephanie and her would be laughing about it together.
Right.
Right. So,
And I think it's important that the toolboxes, the tools that we all bring to the box. Because at the end of the day, we are all one big box and we pour into each other.
Oh my God, what if we didn't have each other? What would be? I would be boring. I would be a horrible dresser.
Oh, you be with another set of friends who would talk bad about you every day.
No, the dressing would have just stayed where it was. That's all. The dressing would have stayed where it was. That's all.
Yes, got khaki outfit.
You did love you some gas, Farrah.
Girl, she did
Oh
love
my
some gas.
God.
She did.
I remember she wore some gas jeans as a gift.
you did
Gas
like
jeans are nice.
They were.
I
know.
mean, back
That
then.
guy jeans was fucking stiff as fuck. They were like
Badass.
Oh my God, the dresses. Remember like the denim?
jeans today are
Now they're better.
I can't believe you said that.
Yeah, and they have shape.
Oh my
so,
God.
we can end it on this note. Thank you guys for listening to our podcast.
Yes.
Thank you for my emo moment. Thank you, girls.
That was
Yes.
a beautiful moment.
Yes.
I love you.
It was genuine. It
No.
was
It was
authentic.
It was from the soul.
It was
So
from the
sorry.
heart.
I was the first one to say that I wouldn't.
We just talked about it
Yeah.
before that.
All right,
But this is us.
No, like, subscribe.
Oh,
Like,
please.
our
Like,
podcast.
subscribe,
Please.
comment.
Repost.
Let us know how we're
No,
doing.
for real, comment, guys.
Comment.
Please comment.
We're like,
If you
y'all
have
sound-
questions, you can put it to.
Who do you want to hear more from? Who do you want
Right,
to
not
see?
from
Because
me.
we are going to start inviting guests.
Yes.
Yes. What do you
Come
want to
sit with
talk
us.
about?
Come sit
Not
with
come
us.
sit with us.
Yeah.
No,
Come sit with us.
Any topics that you would love for us to talk about, let us
Yeah.
know. If you think that this is whack and we shouldn't do other things.
We
We're
still
still
gonna
gonna
do
do
it.
it.
All right.
Why you even ask?
Right.
I think we're good now. I think we're good.
I want to
Yeah.
shout out to my brother though, and all black men vote. Black men vote.
Woo!
Black men vote.
Black men
I'm
vote.
wearing my hoodie next week.
Black men vote.
What does it say?
.org.
No,
Check
no,
it out.
I need my black men
Check
vote.
it out.
Okay.
Move out the way. I'm with my girls and we on these queen I come true.
Like the rest say, move out the way.
How many
Times I'ma say it?
It's a home run with the team touch
biz.
Rock up, bitch, rock up, bitch, rock up. Humble like we probably come up. Don't make it turn into trouble. Cause we coming straight out the jungle. Rock up, bitch, rock up, bitch, rock up. Humble like we probably come up. Don't make it turn into trouble. Cause we coming straight out the jungle.
Boom, boom,